Moderation, tolerance, and justice rule the heart and disarm discontent. Welcome back to We Play Games. I'm Walker, and here we are in Crusader Kings 3 after the end, about to resume our campaign. So, Jalisco, the ruler here, Oswaldo, did die of a seizure before we were able to execute our invasion of Michoacan and create a nice little linked up territory. But I think the AI will hopefully try to do that. If they don't, we'll come back to Mexico in a future playthrough if we need to. But I found a really fun character here, Duke Vinicio of Pichincha. This guy is a really, really young child. He inherited control of this duchy when he was only 1 year old. And so I think what we're going to do here is we're going to play this character as essentially Santander reborn. So Francisco de Vallo de Santander, we're going to talk about Santander in a future lore video, but basically this is a historical figure who is very, very important in the foundation of New Granada after the disintegration of the Gran Colombian Republic after the death of Bolivar. He was a secondary commander for Bolivar, had some spats with Bolivar, was exiled from the country, but ended up being a really important historical political figure. And because of our faith here, Madre Patria, we're going to be able to actually recognize Santander as being a holy figure for this character. So this character is going to try to emulate Santander whenever possible. We're going to try to play him up as being just if we have access to the just trait. We'll do some role-playing, but I think I'm really excited to play with this character simply because we're going to be really, really young. And so we're going to have to overthrow the regency. We're going to end up founding a kingdom, hopefully the Kingdom of Ecuador. But also, we're relatively well positioned to form Colombia if we can live long enough, and that'll be the goal for the character. And we'll see how it does. This one's going to be a little different, though. We're going to lean into being stewardship rather than military. I think that we're going to still end up having to do some wars here, but I want to definitely form some laws, right? I want to do what we're doing here as a reincarnation or a devotee of Santander and try to lean as much into stewardship as possible. We'll fight people when we have to, but largely I'm going to aim to expand our borders through diplomatic means or economic means if we have access to them. And we're also just going to develop Quito as much as possible. I think it's fun to do a little bit of development in the game if you have time to do so. And because we're so young and we have this regency and we have some political enemies near us, I think we're going to have a little bit of time to do that. And of course, because we're so young, we're going to have the opportunity to meet peers, and that'll create some role-playing potentials for the king once he's enthroned. Oh, for instance, here we're going to become friends with Isidro Guaman, the son of one of our mayors. It might be a small friendship at first, because, we don't have a lot of land and we can't enrich him, but I think it's a fun opportunity for us to start building relationships. But we're going to be kind of suffering here because Madre Patria, the religion that we're following, it actually is female dominated, and our character being male, of course, is going to be not the right gender according to our vassals. That's going to create a little problem in terms of our opinion, but it's not one that I think Vinicio is unable to overcome. Oh, baby. And we sent our court chaplain out here to create a little bit of a control over Guayas, and we actually have the ability to create an unpressed claim on the entire duchy. This is going to be a really big step for us if we can take that territory. We'll see what happens after the death of this duke, but I think it'll be quite the deal. Because now, in order to become the king of Ecuador, all Vinicio is going to need to do is conquer Guayas and then probably do a couple of holy wars here against these Incari faith people. The Incari faith, we'll cover this again in a future episode of lore, but the Incari faith basically worship Atahualpa, the last ruler of a fully independent Incan empire, and the pieces of Atahualpa are supposed to be out there somewhere, and the Incari faith are trying to bring it all together. Of course, as Madre Patria, we don't really care that much about that part. We're more interested in just reforming the kingdom itself, because this faith recognizes the holy nature of the country. Oh, we're getting a puppy? I mean, sure, yeah. Vinicio, he needs a friend. A puppy is probably the right way to go. We'll take Scooby. I think that's fun. Ooh, and our aunt-in-law, I guess, is willing to form an alliance with us. And considering, the current situation and the fact that they're only a count, I'm more than happy to be allies with this character here. Because if we become a king, they will almost certainly join our kingdom just by us offering them vassalage with low feudal obligations. That's good enough, right? If we can do the same thing with Manabi, I'd like to do that. Saves us the effort of trying to forge a claim on their duchy. But because we are a child and we're in an entrenched regency, our mom is going to slowly but surely take control of as much power as she can. So whenever we get to the point where we're going to be able to end this regency, we might have to leverage things in order to get her out of power. But I'm willing to do that. I think it would be flavorful if we waited until we were an adult, though, because I don't see an 8-year-old child demanding their regent be less powerful, bossy or no. So here we have our opportunity to get our first personality trait. In this case, I think we're going to pick up compassionate. Compassionate is virtuous to our religion, and we are going to try to get as much faith as we can, because I think what we're going to do here is lean into the being a good guy here. Once we're an adult and we can do scholarly research, then we can spend our piety in order to get claims. And now we've actually become friends with our half-sister. So our mother remarried after the death of our father, Duke Alfonso II, and has actually given us a sister, which is really great because it gives us another alliance, and we need as many alliances as we can get our hands on if we're gonna try to form this empire. Oh, and we've developed a crush on this peasant leader here, this character Rocio, but unfortunately she has cancer, so Vinicio's first love is almost certainly gonna die. And now we have an opportunity to pick up another trait, but I think we're gonna actually go for fickle. Although fickle is minus on stewardship, I like the extra hostile scheme resistance, and I think it also gives us some role-playing flexibility in terms of how Vinicio behaves, right? If he's fickle, he's gonna be able to do some pretty out there things, and we might need to in order to form our kingdom. Ooh, and critically, fickle gives us access to really, really quick learn language schemes. So we're already at 3 out of 3 foreign languages that we've learned. Really, really great when it comes to forming cultural linkages to know different religions and different languages. And of course, on that note, because of, moderation being one of the most important things for this character, I think if we have the opportunity to do a lot of pilgrimages, we will. And we're also going to go ahead and just build out a royal forest in Quito. I like the extra income whenever you're trying to rule for a longer time. Gold is very, very important to keep your war engine going. But also it'll give us lots of money to reinvest in stuff. Because if we get the opportunity to build a lot of things with this character, I'd love to. Santander was important not only for passing laws in New Granada, but also helping set up local governments. And I think that's a historical thing for Vinicio to aim towards. Oh, holy cow. We just got a 26 learning physician. That is fantastic. The stolen keg. So here we get access to our last character trait, and I think we're going to go for diligent. Diligent is really, really stressful, and so it's not like all upside, but boy, I think this is a good thing for our character to pick up and a great way for us to try to maximize our learning, and for that matter, our growth as a really, really good lawmaker. Uh-oh, somebody's trying to beat up one of our vassals' kids. Not on our watch, right? We're gonna protect this guy, and then great, we've made yet another friend. This is gonna be a really, really productive and nice little regency for Vinicio. Oh no, our mother has developed leprosy. Uh-oh. All right, well, I guess the regency is gonna be coming to a quick close kind of no matter what, because now the political forces that were holding the kingdom together are starting to fall apart all on their own. All right. Duke Vinicio has indeed become a man, and now we've picked up Midas Touched. Oh my god, this guy, outside of the really terrible intrigue, he looks really, really good. And of course, intrigue, we're not as weak in the intrigue as you'd expect, just because fickle prevents assassins from getting us, hopefully. But we're gonna go ahead and lean into that. We'll pick up duty, just so that way more people aren't going to be inclined to help assassinate us. We aren't married though, and I would like to do some pilgrimages, so let's actually see what we can do in terms of maybe finding a wife through worldly pilgrimages. We can do some really, really fun things here, pick up a lot of fun little bonuses. We'll take mercenary guards, of course, with us for the extra travel speed and travel safety, and I think in this case we have enough gold that I'm going to go ahead and take a cultural ambassador as well. And we're just going to get as much worldly pilgrimage stuff done as possible, because I do think that is one of those things it's pretty Santander focused. He was exiled from Venezuela, from Gran Colombia, after a plot against Simon Bolivar, and spent a lot of time just like bouncing around in Europe and seeing what was going on over there and learning about different cultures. And I think that's kind of the basis of how this character is going to behave. We'll learn stuff about the world and then we'll try to conquer it. Oh, so because we've done a far pilgrimage, we actually have the ability to pick up some remarkably exotic wares. It's a little bit of money up front, but we'll bring them back home with us and then we can sell them for a gigantic amount of money. Oh yes, and our culture has actually discovered mangonels. But yeah, let's sell these remarkably exotic wares, get tons of extra gold, and that'll help us go ahead, destroy the onagers, and then pick up mangonels. Because we're going to be fighting in a lot of mountain territory, we do need to make sure that we have the best siege weapons we can get access to, and mangonels are just way more effective than onagers. Well, while our mother is still the regent and still around, let's make use of this and go out on another pilgrimage towards Panama. Panama, of course, was part of Gran Colombia before the disintegration, and therefore I think it makes sense that it's part of the same cultural world. But yeah, we're just going to push as much worldliness as possible. We're going to be pretty nice towards our religion, but the goal here is to de-emphasize religion in our rule. We'll have to do some holy wars kind of no matter what, but I'd like us to not lean more on that and rather just be as culturally sensitive towards the people we're picking up as possible. Oh snap, we found a really good trinket while we were out there at sea. Extra lifestyle experience is almost always amazing. This is definitely going to be a small fortune we're going to spend on all of these pilgrimages, but pretty quickly we're going to be in a position where we can probably be legitimate as a ruler around here. If we can get scholar especially, that would be huge. And now let's do our last pilgrimage. I kind of can't believe that our mother is still alive considering that she's a drunk leper here, but we'll see how long she lasts. Oh no, our sister has gone lost on this little journey of ours. We have to mount a search party. We don't want to lose her out here. Oh, thank goodness, we did find her. This is important. Not only is she our friend, but this alliance that we have formed out here is going to be pretty important if we can execute our goal and start reforming the Kingdom of Ecuador. Ah, and here we are traveling on this final pilgrimage before I think we overthrow the regency, and we've encountered a witch. I would love to be a witch secretly. I think that would be a fun contrast to, being generally a nice guy. We've got Vinicio, the witch. So let's go ahead and end our entrenched regency. We are powerful, and I think we're mostly done with our early travels with Vinicio. Now we just need enough gold to keep our troops around for a little while, because I think what we're going to do here is we're actually going to attack Guayas. If we can take control of Guayaquil, then we'll have control over most of the right religion territories here inside of Ecuador. And then, of course, we can declare a holy war against this duke, and hopefully we can form the kingdom in a short order. So we had a mental break here, and now we can pick up athletic again. The fact that you can pick up a little bit of health there is really, really good if you're trying to go long. And now, because we got the money and I think we have the allies, I think it's time for us to go ahead and attack Guayaquil. Now, this looks like a dangerous enemy over here, but because we actually were able to form an alliance with Panama, the alliance we set up with Surya over here actually collapsed due to the death of the ruler. But a new alliance with Panama means we've got plenty of troops to throw around. Oh boy. Yeah, our alliance network is just a lot stronger than theirs, and we blew their army apart. You gotta drink every time I say that. Oh yes, and we've defeated Guayas. So now we have control over this section here, and of course, because we are powerful enough, I think we're gonna go ahead and just follow it up with a very, very quick holy war against the Inkari out here. They've got quite the alliance network of their own. Oh no, the new vassals we've taken over are plotting against us. Let's see what we can do to encourage them not to. Actually, before we declare this holy war, it looks like the new content vassal that we've picked up here is actually plotting to overthrow us. Dangerous faction, 7 more months. And so if we want, what we can do, of course, is fight them, win, and then we can revoke Guayaquil and have a second Regiopolis. The more of these extremely rich territories we can govern ourselves, the better. Oh no, our dog has died, Scooby. Well, we'll turn him into an object for our court. Speaking of our court, our mother has finally succumbed to leprosy. Unfortunate, but understandable. And now we're basically alone except for our sister out here, our half-sister and friend. Oh, and now I suppose our court tutor. Excellent. Alright, so it looks like our vassals are indeed trying to throw us out of Guayaquil, but I like this position here because now we're on the defense. We can call our allies into this war, and we will, once we've won, have the ability to revoke some of these titles, and therefore have a lot of extra military strength. The more direct domain we can have, the better. And now we're going to try to hunt down the rebel stacks. Yeah, and our allies are going to filter in. Perfect. This has been a longer civil war than I think we were planning on, but once we're done here, we'll still have enough gold that we should be able to attack this holy war here, and then from there become the king that we were destined to become. Oh my god. Well, we have a potential option here for a new wife. She's going to be lowborn, so it's going to cost us a little bit of prestige to arrange this marriage, but we have plenty of allies now, and this is 21 stewardship. So what we're going to do here is we're going to marry this wandering peasant here, but by marrying her, our stats are going to get a lot better. Assist ruler is going to be really, really good. Same with managed domain, honestly, because we can pick up an extra domain slot. All right, so now we are actually on the cusp of becoming the king of Ecuador. We just need to attack Duke Jairo the Bald of Azue, and then we can take control of this entire duchy, and that'll give us enough territory inside Ecuador, because we need 12 de jure counties, and this character controls 4 of the de jure counties within this duchy. If we just take this, we are set up to become a king. Oh. Well, Maria has decided that we will name our child Vinicio after ourselves, and I think that's reasonable. Oh, holy cow, now Jalisco has actually transformed into a republic. I think that's partially due to the control of Mexico's city out there, but that does mean that the succession inside of Mexico is going to be a little different. And we now have 500 gold, which means we can create the Kingdom of Ecuador. But I think we're going to go ahead and offer vassalage to, oh my god, our ally will actually accept vassalage with normal feudal obligations. That's fantastic. But this character out here, Manabi, won't join the kingdom just yet. I think we need to sway her a little bit before we can get that territory. But we're gonna do a holy war here to pick up the rest of this territory, and then, of course, Santander Reborn in Vinicio of Ecuador is going to go ahead and see as much of this territory as we can pick up as possible. Colombia is a very big empire. 75 de jure counties is not a joke, but we have a couple of really nice things going for us. We got an enormous bank of piety, and because we're pretty well educated, we should have a pretty easy time moving into learning and going down to sanction loopholes. By-claim will let us spend that piety and then do a lot of conquering, assuming that Vinicio can live long enough. But that'll be on our next episode here on We Play Games with CK3 after the end. That's Walker. Take care.